There we go. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are aware, sometimes live streaming is hard. We have a new indicator to talk about today. This is an indicator that I have not released yet. This is Parallox. Now, it's not as, here's the thing. In the realm of indicators, there are two approaches. The first approach, which I have gotten into more, and I think that more people will get into as they progress with using objective technical indicators, and that is, we want to understand how indicators are programmed. We want to understand their logic. We want to understand the maths. We want to make sure that everything balances, and that's absolutely fine. But then the way that I was for many years is I did not care. I was just looking for indicators. I didn't care if they were measuring the length of Cthulhu's tentacles or the volatility of an asset or the differentiation in price, the relative strength of a price, if you will. I did not care. For many years, I didn't care, and I was still a consistently profitable trader. So the way that this indicator works is by measuring, it's called Parallox because it measures two parallel aspects of price. They are two different relative momentum states. One is measuring waxing momentum, one is measuring waning momentum, and then there is an algorithm that pits them against each other, and whichever is dominant at any point in time is the overall direction of the trend. This can be utilized in two ways. This can be an initiator, this can be a confirmer, this can even be a baseline. It just depends on however you would like to utilize. Yes, that's right, a baseline does not have to be something that goes on your chart, it just most typically is. Now, if we just take a look at this nice, beautiful baby right here, we can see that with few exceptions, even if we scroll back on the daily, yes, it kind of looks like my heart rate sometimes after a few cups of coffee, you'll notice right there. Okay. Is Parallox the Green Lantern's arch enemy? I don't really know. I just, I have this kind of penchant for picking names out of random orifices, and then they tend to work. But anyways, I digress. This indicator is very not very not, what's the word I'm looking for? Come on, words, come to me. Not subject to a lot of chop. It's very clean. It's very technical. It measures the overall trend, and with very few exceptions, it does not give many false signals. And that is really what you want out of a trending indicator. You do not want it to be flipping on you and giving you a ton of divergent signals in a range. So I just want to point your attention in this particular instance to the range. So Bitcoin, obviously, we know topped on June 26, 2019, and then it entered into a long consolidatory range, which we just broke down from over the last few days. Of course, we talked about that. And you can see that we only flip direction in this trend. We are obviously long, and this gave us the long signal on the 13th of June, and had us in a long trade, and then did not have us out of a long or looking to go short until the 29th of June, 2019. So you do want to be using this, with an exit indicator, something that's a little bit more sensitive, but of course that is a good capture of the trend. Better than a lot of people did. And you can see that with very few exceptions, it only trend flips you about 4 times, maybe 5 times throughout this entire trending area, as opposed to something that is more sensitive, something like Minx, where we do flip, quite frequently, where we flip about 7 or 8 times. So it's less sensitive, and it is better for determining the overall trend. And I think once I get this released, there's a few, the code is fine. There's no logical errors in the code. That's always the difficulty in taking an indicator that I might use in isolation, and then making that available for many people to use, is ensuring that there's no logical errors in the code, that everything processes correctly. And then kind of the difficulty comes from making it user-friendly, so adding in alerts, adding visual alerts on the screen, for example, sometimes bar coloring, although I think I'm going to be trying to steer away from that with future implementations, because the way that TradingView works, when you start incorporating bar coloring, if you start incorporating multiple indicators on your chart that are all trying to color bars, for some reason TradingView just has a seizure and doesn't really like that, and so I get a lot of complaints. They're like, hey, this bar is coloring wrong. I'm like, well, do you have another indicator on your chart that is also attempting to bar color? I can't fix that. That is TradingView's problem. You're just gonna have to contact TradingView support and tell them to program their Pine code better. But I digress. It's still probably the best that we have, and it's going to be the most commonly used tool for most people, because what are you going to go use? MetaTrader? Hell no. Okay. Wax on, wax off. Moving right along.